Hello, this is Joe Greco from Ask Joe About Money, and today is January 30th, 2023, and we're going to be doing a daily market recap. And today is the second day, so brand new at this and trying something brand new. And we're going to focus on the E-mini, as you can see here, I trade the MES. We're on the uh, uh, March 2023 contract. And I want to talk to you through. I actually didn't take any trades today in this market, but I did have another trade that I took in a different market that I want to share with you. But before I jump in, I always like to give some words. The first day on Friday, I talked to you about how important it is to have a routine. And today I want to talk to you about how important it is to believe in yourself and keep on going, because this is just something that I preach. I'm always in that stage as well, right? The way that I look at it is that you have some growth, and then you hit a plateau, maybe even go backwards a little bit, and then you have some growth and you hit a plateau, and then maybe even go backwards a little bit. And I'm here to tell you to not lose faith, and to just, when you hit those periods of just kind of feeling like you're not making any progress, and maybe it even feels like you're going backwards, just like the market, when the market gets coiled up and we go into a really, really tight range, inevitably what happens is the market breaks out to a new high or a new low, because there's all that energy. But really what's happening is, when you're in that zone of a plateau, when you're in that zone of feeling like you're not making any progress, that's actually where all the progress is happening. Because when you break out and you get some big results, that actually happened back in the time when you're at the plateau, and the results come later. So I don't want you to be fooled, because it also works on the other end. When things are going great and you're making money, or you're seeing success, don't judge it on the fact of what you're doing today, because that, like, I'll give you an example, right? If you're have a goal of losing weight, you may be dieting for 3 months and not see any results. And then finally, in the fourth month, you start losing weight relatively quickly. Is there anything different that you did in that fourth month? No, it takes some time for all of that to catch up. So we have to be aware that just because we're seeing results, it may not even mean that we're doing something correct now. So I'm here to encourage you and tell you that if you're in a plateau zone, I actually happen to be in a plateau right now of trying to reach the next level in my trading. But I know that the hard work that I'm doing right now, in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 6 months, I'm going to see these outsized gains and returns. And it's not going to be about what I'm doing then. It's about what I'm doing now. So stay the course, okay? Stay with it, and remember that when you're in that plateau zone, that's all the energy and all the work that you're doing. Is that you're not going to see it now, but you're going to see it later. So stay with it and stick with it. That being said, I want to talk to you about, so this is a heavy news week this week. We have the Fed on Wednesday, and we have a lot of different news events. So, and Monday morning, typically, the approach that I take when I'm trading the S&P 500 is the market has to prove itself to me. And what I mean by that is that unless I see a very strong move, either up or down, I'm going to basically just sit there, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what happens, because what I'm trying to figure out is this going to be a trending day, or is it going to be a range bound day? So this morning we gapped down, so we closed up here at 4,084, and we opened up down here at 4,054 quarter, and the market started going up. What I noticed right off the bat when the market started going up, let's actually do it this way. Let's do it from the hard right edge. So what happens is we get a green bar, but a big wick on top. Then we get another big bar, and this is a nice green bar with a closing pretty much at its highs. But what we have working against us at this point is that we gap down, and we're far from the moving average. This is the 20 period exponential moving average. And so I'm going to give it, this is only the first 10 minutes of the day, and I'm going to give it some time because I don't want to jump in. And then we print a red candle, another green candle, And so, I mean, at this point, I'm looking at this, and it's Monday morning, and I don't like to just hop into things. So, uh, if the context was different, like if we were opening up above resistance, then maybe I would looking thinking long. But since we're open gapping down, it's I'm thinking that at some point this might actually reverse. So I didn't take any trades there, and then we get a huge red candle closing at its lows. And so at this point, what I'm thinking is that probably this is going to be at least for the open at this point, it looks like it's going to be a range bound open because if this was a strong trend, we would have seen more green bars. But so at this point, I'm thinking that we're going to be in a trading range open. And so as you see, when we're in a trading range open, because if you look at this red bar, if we were a strong bear market, well, they would have sold it. But what they did is as soon as that bar closed, it went a little bit below and they went higher. So there's no conviction for me either way here. So I'm going to wait for something to set up here. So I'm looking here, another green bar, but now we're getting close to closing the gap. And then they put a red candle there, and then red candle. But now again here at this point, I considered a short here, but so let me tell you why I didn't. So this would be an acceptable short in my opinion, but the reason why I didn't take this short is that again this is experience. There was lack of enthusiasm. I don't look at volume, but I do see that how the candles were printing. It was Monday morning. We have news pending in the next couple of days, and there seemed to be lack of enthusiasm. So I elected not to take the trade here, close to the moving average, and then we did end up coming back down here towards support. But again, Monday morning, 10:30. This was the open, so it went up, went down, confusion. This is trading range behavior, and again, there's no. And from my view, I'm always looking for swing trades of 20 points or more. And I just at this point, this is where at support. But again, you could be looking for a long somewhere down here. The problem is that it's just there's not much range for the way that I trade. So I see this red candle. I am interested if this starts to break down at this point and starts to turn into a bear trend, then I would be interested in doing that. But it has to break decisively below support down here. So let's see what happens. So actually, after it broke through, and this is why we talk about the market is never precise. Because if you would have just taken the approach of like, well, it broke this low, the day's low, with a red bar. Well, obviously we broke support and we're going down. But we have to give it a chance because it did that for one bar, and then what happened the next bar? It printed it tried to go to the downside. This was a red candle at one point, but they bought it back up. It closed towards the top end of the candle, and it was a green bar. So at this point, if anything, I'm thinking long. But again, because of the lack of enthusiasm, I just decided not to take it. It looks like it's forming a bottom. They print a green candle. So I'm just observing at this point. Okay, again, you could just see the candles are just, now here we come up to the moving average, and they couldn't close above the moving average, and then they sold it back down. So again, this is just back and forth. When I see the market doing this, this is not a market that I like to trade. If you just look at look at the size of the candles. It's just not, it's not what I want to trade because it's just too tough. So I'm looking for a trend. I'm looking for a clear support or resistance. And if I had to be long or short, I would want to be short because we're below the moving average and we're not closing above it. But still, I still don't see the risk and reward because again, you could just tell these candles are just as we get into lunchtime now, and then the rest of the day, and this is just a feel, the market just was not ended up being in just a tight range all day. And again, if you could have been short and held because you could see it barely closed over the moving average, so you could have a strategy, which I do sometimes, where you could hold short. But the issue is that it's just I didn't see the risk reward here, so I didn't. So, and this is the thing, is like you have to be okay with this. This is going to happen, and I'm looking for the A+ setups. I'm looking for days when the market is clearly going in one direction or the other. So I didn't see an edge here, so I didn't trade. I did, however, place a trade in crude oil, and the trade in crude oil. Let me show you what I did here. So the first thing that I looked at here in crude oil is that now, I always say I specialize in one chart, which is the S&P 500, and I trade on a 5-minute chart. But there are other markets that I track, crude oil being one of them, and I look at this on a 15-minute chart because I'm not necessarily looking at it candle by candle. I'm looking for areas of support and resistance, and I'm just trading them more as a swing trade. When I say swing trade, this particular trade, I was only in it for, I don't know, maybe an hour, a little over an hour. So that's not a really, but it could be multiple hours. It could even be a position that I hold overnight. But let me take you through the thought process of the one trade that I did take. So what happened here is when I came in this morning with crude oil, let's just see here, where are we here? When I come in this morning of crude oil, this is what I'm seeing. On the crude oil market, I do look at a 24-hour chart because the market does trade 24 hours. And so, without having any trend lines or anything like that, I mean, this to me is a clear, this was on Friday. So this to me is a clear downtrend. And the market went down, okay? This is where it opened up last night, Sunday night. It gapped up, it went up, it came back down, retraced, and now a powerful move down. So I'm thinking short at this point. I wouldn't want to be getting long here because, again, I don't want to go against this huge trend. So the first thing that I do when I see this is I'm looking at where is my supply zone, okay, or resistance. Where's my supply zone or resistance? So this is my resistance or my supply zone. So I'm looking to get short in this area. As you can tell, this is resistance up here, all the way from back here. And so I would want to start getting short from here, and then I would scale in as high as here. So, but I need a good price because especially when you're shorting, you want to make sure you don't want to be shorting down here because you want to sell at support and buy at resistance. So let's see what happens. The market continues down. I start drawing some trend lines here. It broke this trend line, and again, the behavior of the crude oil market is different than the S&P 500 market. So as it's going up, I have an arresting order to short up here. And so let's see what happens. And the market does come back up here. Now again, this is let me give you a quick lesson on support and resistance. We can all see this is resistance, okay? But here's the issue. We all know we want to sell at resistance, but when this is happening in real time and there's these green candles, it looks really, really, really scary. But if you want to short at resistance, you're going to have to short when the market is going up, at least for the time being. So as this is racing up, I get short and it goes past my order, it keeps going up. So now I want to see what happens in this zone, right? Because my stop is above here. My stop is up here, and I'm willing, again, it's all dependent on how it develops up here. So I took my first position in here, and from there, it actually, the next candle, it rejected it immediately. That's why I scale in, because if I was waiting for higher support, I would have missed this trade. Now I went in with smaller size because I have to allow myself the opportunity to add more as the market goes up. So at this point, the market starts going down, and I'm looking for an indication of where I want to cover at this point because I'm short from up here. And so now at this point, 2 red candles. And then let's see so now we have a green candle. So at this point, I don't remember exactly what I was thinking, but now there's some support here. And let's see where I ended up covering. Another green candle, and I covered there. So I basically, my actual risk was very little. My actual risk was only, because I got in, I think, right around here. So my actual risk wasn't much. So it was a big return on my multiple of risk. And it did, if I had larger size, I could have taken some off and then held some from the longer, but I only had one position size in, so I covered somewhere around 50% of this pullback there. So there's my daily lesson there on crude oil. It's the same thing in all markets, and I'll be back tomorrow. And so far, I'm enjoying these, and I feel like I'm getting a little better as we go along, but enjoy, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.